lazy and unambitious, I joined the palace just to get by. I avoided intrigue and didn't see the emperor for 4 years. Just as I settled in, Mo Yuan barged into Yufu court. Fate had other plans. After serving him once, I'm now pregnant with the imperial heir, watching my belly grow daily.
I was on the verge of tears. Everyone says Mo Yuan has difficulty siring children, so who can tell me why I got pregnant so quickly?
Yufu court is in a remote area. The emperor rarely visits, so living here is tantamount to being completely out of favor with his majesty. Moreover, someone even died here before, so anyone assigned to this place would try every possible way to get transferred elsewhere. Over the 4 years in the palace, many people have come and gone from Yufu court, but I am the only one who has stayed here all along. I have never been ambitious, I just want to live my days peacefully, and I really like Yufu court. Besides, the word fu, meaning blessing, in its name makes me feel a sense of closeness. I was originally assigned 2 palace maids to serve me. One of them, Chin Chu, realized she had no prospects staying by my side, so she spent some money to get transferred elsewhere. Lian Chu also considered leaving, but after weighing her options, she decided to stay with me. I have a good temper and never take out my frustrations on those who serve me. Although staying in Yufu court may not promise a glorious future, at least it doesn't put one's life at risk. The weather is nice today, my lady. Would you like to go out for a walk? Lian Chu, go and fetch my shuttlecock. Let's go play shuttlecock. $97, $98, $99, and $100. So, no one noticed when a figure in bright yellow walked into Yufu court. It wasn't until Zhang Dequan, who was following behind Mo Yuan, coughed that everyone in Yufu court finally took notice.
Your Majesty.
I was also surprised and had no idea why His Majesty would appear here. This concubine respectfully greets your majesty.
Rise.
I was momentarily stunned, but at Zhang Dequan's signal, I quickly stepped forward to follow. However, Zhang Dequan and the others did not come in to attend, and they even kept Lian Chu outside the room. Mo Yuan spoke reluctantly. I stepped closer without hesitation. Suddenly, he pulled me toward him. I started to struggle but stopped, remembering my duty as his concubine to be obedient. I closed my eyes and softened. Yet, in the bright daylight, this intimacy felt wrong. I'd heard the emperor was devoted to work, rarely visiting the harem or indulging in beauty. Why was he so passionate today? I broke into a sweat, wondering what he would do next. After Song Mo Yuan left, I felt like I was half dead. I collapsed onto the bed and slept like the dead. What time is it now? Mistress, you're awake. You've slept for more than 2 hours and the food is already prepared. Lian Qiu came back to herself as she spoke, got up, poured a cup of water, and handed it to me. I took the cup and drank the water down, sip by sip, until my parched throat finally felt a little better. Is there anything to eat? Yes, there is. Xiao Duzi went to the kitchen to get dinner. After a quick wash, I sat down at the table and looked at the dishes Lian Ke had taken out from the stone box. One meat dish among them. I wolfed down my food. I had been very active today, and it was past my usual mealtime, so I wasn't paying any attention to my appearance. It was getting late, my master. I was careful not to get hungry later. I was someone who listened to advice. Looking at the leftovers and knowing my stomach was full, I reluctantly put down my chopsticks. After a nap and filling my stomach again, I finally had the mind to think about the day's events. I didn't understand why the emperor had suddenly appeared in the imperial palace and dragged me along on such a ridiculous daytime outing. Although I was quite pretty and could be considered a beauty, the palace is overflowing with beauties, but I'm not so beautiful that the emperor couldn't resist me at first sight. If I were truly that stunning, I wouldn't have been able to maintain this close relationship for nearly 4 years. And back then, I think I bit the emperor. I remember when we entered the palace, the head maid taught us that serving the emperor meant being obedient, not overstepping boundaries, and not harming his health. Did biting the emperor count as harming his health? Would the emperor punish me for disrespect and send me to the cold palace? I shuddered. Although I had no desire to win his favor, I didn't want to suffer in the cold palace. Although staying in the Imperial Wardrobe Institute doesn't come with particularly good treatment, as long as I manage things properly in my daily life, my food and drink are taken care of. When it comes to daily expenses, I won't be treated harshly either. In the cold palace, no more chicken drumsticks. I'd just be cold, hungry, and bullied. She shook it off, comforting herself. It's late. Better to stay quiet in the Imperial Wardrobe Bureau. No one's held me accountable. His Majesty likely doesn't blame me. If the Emperor visited Yufu Courtyard, I'd have heard. Lady Lu moved out, and we have a connection. Shibao, Lingzhu's Yulan Pavilion is near our Yufu Courtyard, so it's no surprise they came. Anyone else? No. Lianqiu was crying. After being scolded, she smiled to comfort me, saying, Master, don't worry. Since His Majesty visited, he even summoned you. His Majesty seems pleased, Master. Will there be a reward? Maybe he forgot Lianqiu and it will arrive tomorrow. I worried I'd be upset without a reward, but that's not what I'm asking. I know palace rules. Favor usually comes at night, but this time was day. His Majesty cares for his reputation, so he would not want to. Because such untimely intimacy would easily become gossip. Most likely it will be treated as if nothing ever happened. Besides, I even bit His Majesty, so I'm not expecting any kind of reward.
If that's not what you're asking, then what is it, my lady?
It's nothing. I really don't want to explain to Lianqiu why I'm worried that His Majesty might send someone to punish me. If I really told her, she'd probably be scared out of her wits. But now it seems that His Majesty is actually quite magnanimous. In a good mood, I picked up the letter I had been reading halfway through earlier and continued to look through it. The next morning, when Xiaoduzi came back from the kitchen with breakfast, I was still not awake. Xiaoduzi handed the food box to Lianqiu and said to her,
Lianqiu-ji, do you know what I heard at the kitchen?
What did you hear?
The one locked up in the cold palace was stabbed to death.
Lianqiu's curiosity was piqued by Xiaoduzi's mysterious demeanor. Are you serious?
All the young eunuchs in the kitchen are talking about it. This can't be fake.
When did this happen? How could it be so sudden?
It seems it happened last night.
Last night? Muttering to herself, Lianqiu walked into the room. What happened last night? Lianqiu placed the stone box in her hand on the table, while recalling what Xiaoduzi had just told her from the kitchen. I heard some news and wanted to tell you. They say that last night, the Emperor ordered Empress Chen to die. But do you know why? Empress Chen was Mo Yuan's first wife, the Empress Dowager's own niece, and the eldest princess's biological daughter. More than 4 years ago, because of plotting against Consort Shu and the third princess, she was sent to the Cold Palace by the Emperor. Although Empress Chen was confined to the Cold Palace, the Emperor never stripped her of her title as Empress. At that time, many people speculated that the Emperor might just be putting on a show and didn't truly intend to punish the Empress. They thought that after a while, he might find some excuse to release her again. Surprisingly, Empress Chen was locked away for over 4 years, seemingly forgotten by Mo Yuan. Why the sudden stabbing? With the princess's wedding near, why would his mother kill him now? What was His Majesty thinking? Did the Empress Dowager not intervene? Even Chu lacks details. I'll have Xiaoduzi go and find out more. Tell Xiaoduzi to be careful. If he can find out anything, great. If not, then just let it go. Master, don't worry. That boy is clever. Still, this breakfast has left me feeling uneasy. I just hope this matter doesn't affect the Yufu Courtyard. Why did His Majesty come to Yufu Courtyard specifically yesterday anyway? Fortunately, Xiaoduzi didn't keep me waiting too long. Not long after I finished breakfast, Xiaoduzi came back with news. Did you manage to find out anything from the news you brought back?
Replying to you, Master, I did find out something. Apparently, during the previous banquet, the eldest princess made a request. His Majesty said that since she's about to get married, the only thing she can't stop worrying about is the Empress. She hoped that if His Majesty had time, he could visit the Empress. That way, she could feel at ease as she gets married. His Majesty gave the eldest princess face and agreed to it on the spot.
Mo Yuan has few heirs. At present, he only has 4 princesses under his knee, and Mo Yuan has always treated these 4 children quite well. Yesterday, His Majesty happened to have some free time and went to Gangwon Palace. But not long after entering, he stormed out in anger. Many people are saying that the Empress must have said something she shouldn't have, which angered His Majesty.
But a fellow townsman of mine who works at Gangwon Palace told me that His Majesty was perfectly fine at first. While talking with the Empress, he drank a few sips of tea and then suddenly became angry. I suspect there might have been something wrong with the tea.
After I learned the details, I told Xiaoduzi to withdraw. In my mind, I began to recall the scene from that day, remembering those reddened eyes I saw. I think Xiaoduzi's guess is probably correct. Something was wrong with the Emperor's tea, explaining why Empress Chen was assassinated then. The Empress Dowager and Grand Princess dared not plead. Poisoning the Emperor is a grave crime, punishable by clan extermination. This explains why His Majesty suddenly appeared at Yufu Courtyard and clung to me in a daze. Simply put, I am just an antidote. I can't figure out why Empress Chen used that drug, but it has nothing to do with me. Once cleared of involvement, I stopped caring and returned to my usual self. Seeing my lazy ways, Lianqiu was speechless. Any other mistress spending the night without a reward would be utterly dejected, but my mistress seemed totally indifferent. Lianqiu didn't know whether to be glad she was so open-minded or sigh at her carefreeness. Congratulations, my lady, congratulations! His Majesty has chosen you for the trial night. It seems the Emperor is very fond of you. Let's get ready. No matter why His Majesty has summoned me again, since the decree has arrived, I have no choice but to obey. Our peaceful days might be coming to an end. When I didn't have the Emperor's favor, those people in the harem wouldn't bother with me. But if I catch the Emperor's eye, things will be different. My sister warned me the palace is a place where people devour each other, and the women here are incredibly cunning. Every single one of them has more schemes than a sieve has holes. With my lazy nature, I'm not suited for this life. I know that, so I've stayed careful and avoided attention. It doesn't matter if I lack the Emperor's favor. As long as I can keep my life, that's enough. Some things are unavoidable. Since arriving, I haven't visited the Imperial Garden once. I stay in my quarters daily, avoiding the Emperor and harem politics. But who could have expected that Empress Chen's reckless actions would bring the Emperor to the Imperial wardrobe? Forget it. I won't think about it anymore. Since things have already come to this, I'll just take it one step at a time. With Lianqiu's help, I changed into my clothes and got ready to serve in bed. Master, why don't you try on that other outfit instead? That one. This one is pretty much the same, so let's not fuss over it. Help me do my hair instead. Don't do the high bun style. The high bun gathers all the hair on top of the head, making it look tall and imposing. Right now, everyone in the palace likes this hairstyle. People whose hair isn't thick enough will use hair pieces, but I don't need them. Still, I just can't bring myself to like this hairstyle. The reason is simple. It makes my scalp hurt. Then, would you like me to do a lily bun for you instead? Good. This way it won't be uncomfortable anymore, right? Not uncomfortable anymore. Just in time. We're done with the hair and makeup, and it's about time to go. I waited at the Yufu courtyard for about 3/4 of an hour for the attendant to come pick me up, and then they arrived. On the way to Channing Palace, I was distracted, taking in the scenery along the roadside. Despite years in the palace, I'd never walked to Channing Palace. Yufu courtyard is far from there. By the time I arrived, I was sweating slightly. I wiped my forehead with a handkerchief. At the attendant's signal, I entered the coveted inner hall. Inside, Mo Yuan sat at the desk. Your concubine respectfully greets your majesty.
Be at ease. Sit here.
After thanking Mo Yuan, I sat down properly.
What is your name?
Replying to your majesty, this concubine only has a single given name, Man.
Is that the man from the phrase M.A. Man Liu?
Replying to your majesty, it is the man from Man-Cow, the man-grass. There is also a line. There is man-grass, dewdrops gather. There is a beautiful person, clear and bright at dusk. After parting, we meet again, and I rely on my longing.
Dear consort, that is a very good name.
Thank you, your majesty, for your praise. My name was given to me by my grandmother. However, my grandmother was not as learned as your majesty. She gave me this name simply hoping that I could be as resilient as wild grass, to grow strong.
I recall that your father served in the ministry of the palace, didn't he, my beloved consort?
Your majesty remembers correctly. My father was an assistant official in the ministry of the palace, Sang Lingjai. I simply answered Mo Yuan's questions and didn't say a single unnecessary word. Mo Yuan smiled and chatted with me a bit more.
It's getting late. Let's go to bed.
I served His Majesty as he changed clothes. Mo Yuan extended his arms, and I helped him change. although my movements were a bit clumsy. Fortunately, I didn't make any mistakes. Once he was dressed, without waiting, I let out a sigh of relief, but then something even more nerve-wracking happened. But soon, I was like a lone boat adrift at night, tossed about by the waves, unable to control myself, and had no energy left to feel nervous. After the storm had passed, I lay on the dragon bed, half awake, thinking that this ordeal was finally over. The only discomfort left was that my body and mind were utterly exhausted. That night I slept soundly, but many in the harem lay awake. On the fourth morning after breakfast, the edict for rewards arrived. I led my staff from Yufu courtyard to express gratitude and received the decree-bearing eunuch. Xiao Anzi smiled and said to me,
"Congratulations to the talented lady!"
I smiled politely, took it from Liang Qiu, and handed the pouch to Xiao Anzi, saying, "Thank you, Eunuch An." Steward An weighed the pouch, and his smile widened.
"My lady, you are too kind. Sharing your fortune is my honor."
Once Steward An left, the servants crowded around to congratulate me. Not wanting to spoil the mood, I gave them their rewards. Liang Qiu then saw the rewards from His Majesty. Her eyes glued to 2 bolts of legendary Yunjin brocade, as precious as gold and beautiful as clouds, perfect for an offering. The bureau will help you make 2 new spring outfits. The water red and peach pink fabrics are perfect for my age. I looked at the few bolts of fabric and jewelry that had been delivered and pointed to one of the water blue fabrics. I instructed them to send this bolt of fabric to the tailoring bureau. Just have them make 2 outfits as they see fit. As for these 2 bolts of Yunjin, Ling Qiu shifted her gaze from the Yunjin to the bolt of fabric I was pointing at. Although that bolt of fabric is nice too, it's still not as good as the Yunjin. Let's put away some of the Yunjin and the other fabrics for now. Liang Qiu looked a bit regretfully at those 2 bolts of Yunjin. At my request, she put them all away. The emperor bestowed these fabrics so that the mistress could wear them. Besides, the colors of those 2 bolts of Yunjin really do suit you, my lady. If you made 2 outfits from those 2 bolts of Yunjin and wore them, they would definitely look beautiful. But I also know, my lady, that although you seem easygoing, you always have your own ideas. Since she said to put them away, persuading her is useless. News in the harem always travels quickly. The emperor saw Ling Man in the imperial wardrobe one day, and the next day summoned her to attend to him at night. After that, Ling Man's rank was elevated, and among the rewards were 2 bolts of fabric. The news about the cloud brocade spread throughout the palace as if it had grown wings, reaching Yongyi Palace. To noble consort Gao, listening to the young eunuch's report, she curled her lips. She hadn't noticed it before. Turns out this one is also quite capable. Beauty Zhao only received 1 bolt of cloud brocade before, didn't she? Beauty Zhao, Beauty Qi, and attendant Jiang each only received 1 bolt. Yet he managed to surpass all 3 of them at once. Who knows how those 3 are feeling now? Beauty Zhao and the one from Yuyang Palace, no matter what they might be thinking inside, they didn't show anything on their faces. But it said that the one from Luome Hall smashed a set of white jade teaware. The lady from Luome residence has always felt favored and never regarded others highly. Now that she's been overshadowed by someone of lower rank, smashing a tea set is nothing. Who knows what she might do next? Noble consort Gao gently tapped her fingers on the table, her tone tinged with resentment. Let them fight however they want. Even if His Majesty comes, our Yonghe Palace will never be his first choice anyway. As for me, you just need to keep a close eye on Lady Zhao. Has she been obediently taking the medicine prescribed by the imperial physician to regulate her health? Rest assured, Your Highness, we've been watching Lady Zhao's side closely all along. She hasn't missed a single dose of the medicine prescribed by the imperial physician. That's good. Keep an eye on the imperial wardrobe and deliver something over there. It's from Her Highness. The usually quiet imperial wardrobe suddenly became bustling with visitors. Little Duzi, little Guozi, and the 3 of us were so busy we barely touched the ground. I myself wasn't having an easy time either. Masters of higher rank, or those favored by the emperor, mostly sent eunuchs or palace maids. Come here. Those of lower rank and out of favor mostly came in person to deliver things. When the last person came to offer congratulations, I poured myself a cup of tea and couldn't help but complain. This Shi Baoling and the woman from the criminal court really can talk. From the moment they arrived until they left, the 2 of them barely stopped talking. By the end, I couldn't even be bothered to say anything anymore. The two of them could just keep talking to themselves endlessly. If it weren't getting late, they would probably still be going on. Liang Qiu refilled my cup with tea and said with a smile, "It's because, Master, your status is clearly different from before now. That's why they're coming to curry favor with you. Otherwise, why don't they ever show up on ordinary days?" As they came to visit, I shot Liang Qiu a sideways glance and quietly scolded, "What do you mean by saying things are different from before? Don't say things like that again in the future." "I'm sorry, Master. It was foolish of me, your servant." I picked up my teacup, took a sip, and my expression softened. "I know you're happy for me, but now I'm just a minor Karen now. How different is that from being Baoling before?" "Yes, Karen, you're right. It's not just about the consorts above the 9th rank. Even among Karen and Marin, are there few in this palace? If you become arrogant just because I played the chin twice and was promoted to Karen, it will only bring harm to yourself and to our entire Yufu court sooner or later." Ling Qiu lowered her head in shame.
Your servant knows her mistake, Master. From now on, I will be careful with my words and actions.
You all have had a long day as well. Let's not rush to put these things away tonight. We'll inventory and store them tomorrow. Next day, while tidying up with Liang Qiu and sorting yesterday's gifts, Eunuch Qi arrived with his retinue. Once seated, I asked him puzzled, "Eunuch Qi?"
According to regulations, a talented lady should have 4 palace maids and 4 eunuchs serving her. You were already missing a personal maid by your side, and now that your rank has been elevated, you should have 3 palace maids and 2 eunuchs attending you. I was worried that you might be short-handed here, so it must have been difficult for you. So I selected a few from that group of rather clumsy and incompetent people. I specially brought over the ones who seemed a bit more clever for you to take a look at, to see if any of them please you."
Thank you for the trouble. Eunuch, I just happen to be short-handed right now. You truly are a timely help. Eunuch Qi smiled and exchanged a few polite words, handed me the roster, and introduced each of the people he brought. I listened with a smile until he finished. From Eunuch Qi's introductions, I kept the palace maids Tao Hong, Lu Chui, and Xiang Chao, and the eunuchs. Just Xiao Liuzi and Xiao Xuanzi will do. I chose casually, just kept the first few according to the order they were introduced anyway. I don't know much about these people, so it doesn't really matter who I pick. Besides, after all, I've just arrived here, and even if someone is paying a bit of attention to me, it wouldn't be enough for them to go out of their way just because they weren't chosen to come up. After Eunuch Qi left, the few people who stayed came forward to greet their new master. "Get up! There aren't many people here, and there aren't really any strict rules in my place." But what is most taboo in this palace? I think you all know, so I won't say more. If any of you have other intentions, I advise you to leave early.
Rest assured, my lady, we servants would never do anything to betray our master.
I nodded. After saying what needed to be said, I gave each of them a silver reward, then waved my hand to dismiss them. In the following 10 or so days, Mokshuan never summoned me to his chambers again, and my days returned to their previous tranquility. Aside from a few more people in the Imperial Wardrobe Bureau, it seemed like nothing had changed from before. It was as if everything was just as it used to be. To be honest, there really hasn't been any change. For example, in the past, for banquets like Beauty Qi's birthday celebration, I absolutely would never have received an invitation. I felt a bit of a headache holding the invitation that Beauty Qi sent over. Although I've never interacted with her before, I have heard things about her character. She's known for being the most arrogant and domineering. For such a favored concubine to suddenly send an invitation to someone like me, whom she's never really had any dealings with. Since a minor official delivered the invitation, I didn't even have to think to know that nothing good would come of this banquet. With a heavy heart, I quickly arrived. I took the prepared birthday gift to Beauty Qi's banquet at Luomei residence. I wasn't particularly early or late when I arrived. In the reception hall of Luomei residence, there were only a few people seated, all of whom held relatively low ranks and were not very favored. Beauty Qi herself was nowhere to be seen. Instead, Miao Baoling, who also lived at Luomei residence, was there to keep the guests company. After greeting the few people present, I found an inconspicuous corner. I sat down, and after about half an hour, the guests gradually arrived and the hall was nearly full. It was only then that Beauty Qi finally made an appearance. I looked up and glanced at her. Beauty Chi is 17 this year, tall and slender, with fair skin, upturned eyes, and lips painted a vivid red, radiant and striking to the extreme. So this is the type Mo Yuan likes, I thought idly. She is indeed beautiful, but she comes with thorns. But after all, he is the emperor. No matter how sharp Beauty Chi's thorns are, they could never touch him. Just as I was lost in these thoughts, I heard Beauty Chi, who was seated at the main seat, speak up and ask a question. Recently, which one of you is Ling Man, who was just promoted to the rank of Kairen? After asking, Beauty Chi turned to everyone and continued, speaking of which, I've been in the palace for 2 years now, but I've never met Ling Man. I'm truly curious. After 4 years without favor, how did Ling Man suddenly catch His Majesty's attention? So, taking advantage of this birthday banquet, I specially sent an invitation to Ling Man. I imagine all the sisters present must be just as curious as I am. Ling Man, why don't you step forward and let the sisters get to know you, Beauty Chi? These words showed no respect for me at all. When everyone heard this, at first they looked at each other and then they all put on an expression as if they were watching a show. Liangqiu, who was standing behind me, was so angry that she clenched her teeth, but I acted as if nothing had happened. I stood up as if I hadn't heard anything, my expression unchanged, and gave a slight bow toward Beauty Chi. Greetings, sister. Chi Myron looked me up and down critically and said, not much, really. Of course, little sister can't compare to elder sister's dazzling beauty. Chi Myron felt as if her punch had landed on cotton. Instead of extinguishing the fire in her heart, it only burned even more fiercely. At least you know your own place and have some self-awareness. Just then, Zhang Dequan personally delivered the birthday gift from His Majesty to Chi Myron. Everyone present, whether it's genuine or just for show, His Majesty truly treats elder sister well. Even with his busy schedule, he still remembers your birthday. That's right, I've heard. Last year, the south suffered from flooding, so this year only half as much yuan brocade was supplied as in previous years. Even noble consort and virtuous consort only received 4 bolts each, but today, His Majesty rewarded elder sister with
4 bolts, not to mention the snow satin, brocade, and a complete set of hair ornaments and jewelry. All of this is such an honor for elder sister. It truly makes us younger sisters envious.
Beauty. Chi smiled at the compliments, feeling His Majesty still cared. She had only told him she liked yun brocade clothes, and today he sent 4 bolts, a great honor. However, even so, she would not just let go of the ridicule I suffered before. Beauty Chi glanced over and started the banquet. Now favored, her birthday kept the kitchen staff on their toes. The pastries and dishes were exquisite and delicious. I just took a bite. Just as I went to eat the 8 treasure rabbit, a scream pierced the air. I instinctively looked around. I saw that the little palace maid serving the food was holding a steaming hot soup. The soup flew straight toward my face. Just as I was about to raise my hand to block it, everything went dark in front of me. Liangqiu had already stepped in front of me. The scalding hot soup spilled all over Liangqiu. I hurriedly stood up and pulled Liangqiu over, asking with concern, Liangqiu, are you alright? Liangqiu forced a smile that looked even worse than crying and said, Don't worry, my lady. It spilled over my clothes, I'm fine. Angrily, I turned to look at Beauty Chi and said, Sister, can you give me an explanation? Is this how people in your palace do things? How come it didn't spill on her face? You fool, hurry up and apologize to Beauty Ling. Beauty Ling, please calm down. The people in my palace are clumsy and careless by nature, so it's inevitable that sometimes things go wrong. For this, sister, I've already apologized to His Majesty more than once. But His Majesty has always been lenient and told me not to punish the servants over small matters. That's why they've become so careless and don't know their place. Fortunately, you weren't hurt. Otherwise, I wouldn't let this blind and clumsy servant off today. His Majesty may be lenient, but he is also fair in rewarding and punishing. Since you know you've been too lenient with them, you should discipline them properly. If you only show endless leniency and don't punish your subordinates when they make mistakes, the servants not only won't be grateful, you still think you can just muddle through as the elder sister. But if this continues, Luomeiju will be in chaos sooner or later. For a moment, the room fell silent. Everyone looked at me differently. Chi Beauty. She was furious. She hadn't expected that even after bringing up the Emperor, I would still refuse to give in. I acted as if I hadn't noticed Chi Beauty's anger at all, putting on a kindly face and saying, Sister, if you really can't bear to punish this little palace maid who made a mistake, I can do it for you, sister. After all, she almost burned my face just now. If I help you punish her, it can't really be considered overstepping my bounds. Chi Beauty was so angry that her eyes widened and her chest heaved. Her chest rose and fell with heavy breaths.
Sister.
I don't care if Chi Beauty is about to die of anger because of me. I pressed her to make a choice, urging her to decide whether she would punish the maid herself. The little palace maid. Should she be handed over to me for punishment? Chi Beauty didn't want to punish the maid, nor would she hand her over to me. It's not that she has deep feelings and wants to protect the little palace maid, but rather that this is a matter of saving face. If today she is forced by me to punish this little palace maid, she will become a laughingstock in the palace. That's all. After glancing at the people inside the room who were waiting to watch the drama, and at Meow Baolin, who had her head lowered and was almost curling herself into a ball, Beauty G couldn't catch her breath and fainted on the spot.
Beauty, are you alright?
Quick! Summon the Imperial Physician! Someone carry Beauty Chi to the small couch to lie down for now.
Has anyone gone to invite noble Consort Ling and Consort Wei yet?
Looking at the chaotic hall, I blinked a few times before I realized what had happened. What? Beauty Chi actually fainted? Liang Qiu glanced around the surroundings. She nervously leaned in close to my ear and whispered,
Talented lady, why don't we leave first?
Liang Qiu thinks Beauty Chi fainted because of me. She was thinking of dragging me away as quickly as possible. Let's stay here and observe the situation a bit longer. If we leave now, even if it's not our fault, everything will end up being blamed on us. The Imperial Physician arrived quickly. After entering the inner chamber for a short while, Consort Lin and Wei Defei also hurried over in a rush. Consort Lin and Wei Defei both entered the palace in the same year. This year, they are both 31 years old. However, because they take good care of themselves, they both look much younger than their actual age. But Consort Lin dresses lavishly and has a very strong presence. In comparison, Wei Defei's demeanor was a bit more subdued. Consort Lin gracefully took her seat at the head, her sharp, almond-shaped eyes sweeping over the room. Who among you can tell me what is going on here? The guests at the banquet glanced at me, some openly, some furtively, but no one spoke up. Ying Nuo, the head palace maid serving Beauty Chi, noticed this. None of the mistresses were willing to step forward and say a fair word, which was infuriating. She knelt down in front of Consort Lin and said,
Replying to Consort Lin, your ladyship, our lady fainted from anger because of Beauty Lin.
Ying Nuo. She gave a general account of what had happened at the banquet, but omitted the part where the palace maid almost poured hot soup on my face. Instead, she emphasized how aggressive I was. After finishing, Ying Nuo kowtowed again to Consort Lin.
We beg Consort Lin and Consort D to stand up for our lady. Which one is Lady Ling?
I, Ling Shi, pay my respects to Consort Lin and Consort D. Even with my head lowered, I could feel Consort Lin's presence. After a moment, I felt Consort Ling's gaze fall on me. Only after a while did she finally say, Lady Ling, do you have anything to say? I straightened up several times. Word by word, I pleaded, Consort Lin, Consort D, please look into this matter carefully. This young lady claims that Chi Marin fainted because I angered her. But I am slow-witted and truly do not know what I have done wrong. How could I have angered Chi Marin? Was it simply because I advised her not to be too lenient with the palace maid who made a mistake? If that alone was enough to make Chi Marin faint from anger, then her tolerance is really... Well, I didn't finish my sentence, but everyone present understood what I meant. If Chi Marin really fainted because of me, then her tolerance is just too small. Consort Lin spoke sternly. So, what you're saying is that you don't admit Chi Marin's fainting has anything to do with you? Before I could reply, Consort Lin waved her hand. In that case, let's wait for the Imperial Physician's diagnosis. Let's talk about it after the results come out. About the time it takes to drink a cup of tea later, the Imperial Physician who treated Chi Marin walked out from the inner chamber. Accompanying him was another palace maid who served by Chi Marin's side. Vicky couldn't hide the smile on her face.
Your servant greets Consort Gui.
The Imperial Physician first saluted Consort Lin, then reported Chi Marin's condition.
Chi Marin is already a few months pregnant. It was only because her emotions were too agitated that she suddenly fainted. She will regain consciousness in less than an hour.
The air seemed to freeze for a moment. At this time, Consort Lin smiled and said,
Is that so?
This is wonderful news! Quickly send someone to inform His Majesty.
Chimarin is actually pregnant. Everyone present felt very complicated emotions. I couldn't tell if it was envy or jealousy. I thought to myself, oh no, it looks like I won't be able to avoid a scolding. After all, I was the main culprit who caused Chimarin to become overly emotional. As expected, Consort Lin made arrangements. After sending someone to inform His Majesty, she turned her gaze toward me. She said, Lin Marin, just kneel over there for now. I was inwardly groaning in misery. Consort Lin just said to kneel without a time limit. I feared I'd be there a while. I knelt with Liang Qiu. She and the messenger knelt with me. At the Qing Palace, Mo Yuan sat frowning over a memorial. It was from the censorate inspector. A report was submitted regarding rumors among the people that his 15-year reign was illegitimate and his ascension to the throne was not rightful. You're right. It's best to make him furious. I listened to their conversation smiling and asked, who is pregnant?
It's Wang Zhaoying from Yuxiu Palace, I heard. It's already been 3 months. Previously, because the pregnancy was unstable, it wasn't made public. Whether the pregnancy was truly unstable or she was deliberately hiding it, no one knows.
Wang Zhaorong, I was a bit surprised. Wang Zhaorong entered the palace in the 7th year of Yong'an, and after entering, she was favored for several years. But starting last year, the number of times Mo Yuan visited her gradually decreased. What used to be a visit every few days turned into once every half a month or even a month. During those years when Mo Yuan visited frequently, Wang Zhaolu never got pregnant. Now that Mo Yuan visits less often, Wang Zhaolu has actually become pregnant instead. It seems that pregnancy really is something unpredictable. However, the one who is pregnant is Wang Zhaorong. That beauty Qi must really be furious now. The grudge between these two is actually quite simple. Back when Beauty Qi first entered the palace, she relied on the emperor's favor. Once, when the emperor was staying overnight at Wang Zhaorong's Yuxiu Palace, she even tried to steal him away. Unexpectedly, Wang Zhaorong was highly skilled. Not only did Beauty Qi fail to win the emperor over, but she was also harshly humiliated by Wang Zhaorong afterward. From then on, their feud was set. After Wang Zhaorong was no longer as favored, Beauty Qi made trouble for her more than once. However, given Wang Zhaorong's rank, whenever the two clashed, Beauty Qi lost more often than she won. Now, both of them have become pregnant one after the other, but no one knows what will happen. I'm actually quite curious to see if this time there will be a clear winner between the two, and I do hope she wins. After all, that person is Wang Zhaorong, and I don't really have any personal grudge against her. But in this harem, it's not easy to get pregnant, and it's even harder to give birth safely. Whether these two can actually make it to the moment when a winner is decided is still uncertain. Talented lady, should we send something over to Wang Zhaorong to congratulate her? No, I'm in seclusion reflecting on my mistakes. Let's just pretend we don't know about this news. Why? Is there something wrong with doing that? I was just thinking, Wang Zhaorong is now one of the 9th rank ladies, and in terms of status, only the consort Shu is above her. If she is lucky enough to give birth to a prince, that position of hers might even allow her to enjoy the privileges of a mistress. Would it be inappropriate not to send a congratulatory gift at this time? I'm worried that in the future, she might hold a grudge against you for today's neglect. I appreciate your concern, but I'm currently confined, so sending gifts isn't appropriate. Wan Tong fell silent. With 2 consorts pregnant, the other concubines were provoked, competing fiercely for Mo Yuan's favor. They constantly sent soup or pastries and even waited along his path. Some played music in the garden, while others chased and played around. Some even danced in revealing outfits, using every tactic possible. Hearing these things was eye-opening. Meanwhile, in a good mood, Mo Yuan arranged a spring hunt. The late emperor loved hunting, holding them nearly every spring and autumn. Since his accession, Mo Yuan's preoccupation with state affairs meant seasonal hunts were cancelled. This year marks his first autumn hunt. While the emperor usually brings concubines, there is no mistress of the inner palace as the empress position remains vacant. Noble Consort Lin and Consort De, the palace managers, decided the travel list. Mo Yuan then added the concubines he personally chose. Once announced, reactions were mixed. Those selected joyfully packed their things, while those left behind were secretly angry. Despite some sarcasm, it didn't matter as I'd already joined the clan. The Qing Tianjian set our departure for the auspicious March 6th. When I learned that Moxuan had already left the palace, I once again called the few attendants of Yufu court before me, instructing them to guard the place well and not let anything happen. Do not leave Yufu court, and ensure no outsiders enter through the main gate. Seeing my serious face, the attendants all responded earnestly. After Moxuan and Consort Lin left, the palace masters appeared to stay behind closed doors, but in secret, things were far from peaceful. It's only the third day and I've already heard that Yukshu Palace called for the imperial physician last night. I heard the imperial physician was there for quite a while and didn't leave Yukshu Palace until midnight.
Master, do you think Wang Zhaoyun's child will be alright?
It should be fine. Even if there is something wrong, it probably isn't serious. Otherwise there would have been a commotion last night. How could things still be so calm now? As long as nothing's wrong, that's good. Otherwise Beauty Chi would be delighted. Speaking of Beauty Chi, lately she's been keeping a low profile, staying in Luomei residence all day and not going out at all. That's really not like her usual self. She's not even 3 months pregnant yet, so it's right for her not to go out. Why is it that Beauty Chi is the one who got pregnant? If it were you, my lady, who was expecting, how wonderful that would be. What are you thinking? Dreaming of such good things. If getting pregnant were really that easy. If it were really that easy, the harem would have been full of princes and princesses by now. Why would there only be 3 princesses at this point? Besides, I don't want to be pregnant, especially now, when there isn't even a prince in the harem yet. It's true that His Majesty's heirs are indeed a bit lacking. Meanwhile, Wan Dong, who was listening to their conversation, cast a thoughtful and somewhat worried glance at my belly. Then she gave a self-deprecating smile, thinking to herself how bold her imagination was. But I couldn't help but wonder if it was just psychological. In the days that followed, Wan Dong became increasingly convinced that I might be pregnant, especially since I hadn't had my period for quite some time. However, on the night of March 21st, something happened. Tang Shurong, who lived in Kango Palace, was gone. I thought about it for a long time before I could barely accept it. Thinking back, who was Tang Shurong? Tang Shurong had always kept a low profile. Although she was favored by the emperor, she was almost invisible within the deep palace. She never vied for attention or competed for favor. How could someone so well-behaved and quiet suddenly pass away without any warning?
Tang Shurong had a chronic cough. She began coughing blood last year but hid it for months. Last night she finally succumbed and died. Imperial physicians confirmed she had indeed suffered from a long-term cough.
Tang Shurong had long since lost the emperor's favor. Regardless of the cause of his sudden death, it stemmed from that loss. When Moiwan returned and learned of it, he offered no words of mourning. Tang Shurong received a proper burial. An unfavored concubine's passing in the palace caused no ripple. Although I still wasn't sure if I was really pregnant, I started to be more careful. I avoided foods and items that are not suitable for pregnant women. After that, the imperial kitchen made fish several more times, but I couldn't stand the smell at all. That smell. Whenever I smelled it, I just couldn't help but want to throw up. But aside from not being able to stand the lingering smell, I didn't have any other reactions at all. It wasn't until April, when my period still hadn't come, that I was basically sure. Once pregnant, Chu and Wantong hid their joy, but watched me daily, fearing any mishap. Xiao Duzi and Xiao Guozi also knew, and the whole bureau was thrilled. In this strange atmosphere, one of both joy and a desperate effort to hide it from outsiders, the mood lingered for several days. Seeing that I still had no intention of summoning the imperial physician to check my pulse, Chu became worried again. Master, are you really not going to ask the imperial physician to take a look? Although we maids are doing our best to be careful, we have no experience. What if we overlook something and it affects the child in your belly? Wouldn't it be better to have the imperial physician come and take a look, just to put everyone at ease? Let's wait a bit longer. The child in my belly? Now that it's already been a full 3 months, I really shouldn't keep hiding it any longer. But I'm worried that if His Majesty finds out about my pregnancy, he will lift my confinement. And the Dragon Boat Festival is coming up soon. If my confinement is lifted, I'll definitely have to attend the palace banquet for the festival. There will be a lot of people there, and if anything happens, it will be too late for regrets. So I want to wait until after the Dragon Boat Festival before letting anyone know about my pregnancy. The 5th day of the 5th lunar month is the Dragon Boat Festival. As soon as May arrives, the festival comes quickly. The Dragon Boat Festival banquet is held in the Xuanyuan Hall. The mistresses of each palace start dressing up early or preparing to shine at the evening banquet. But none of this has anything to do with me, since I am still under confinement. I went to bed early, just waiting for today to pass, so I could ask the imperial physician to check my pulse. I slept soundly and peacefully. When I woke up, I found out that not long after the palace banquet started last night, Song Shui from Mingxi Palace was summoned by the emperor because she felt unwell. After the imperial physician took her pulse, it was announced that Song Shui was 1 month pregnant. The physician who attended last night was one of the more experienced senior doctors from the Imperial Medical Bureau, so it's unlikely there was any mistake in the diagnosis. Moyuan was extremely happy and immediately rewarded Song Shui with many fine gifts. I was also very pleased. This really is like having a pillow delivered when you're feeling sleepy. I had been worrying about not knowing what excuse to use to ask the imperial physician to take my pulse. Now, a ready-made excuse was delivered right to me. Unlike my happiness, Liang Qiu seemed a bit anxious. Hearing me ask him to fetch the imperial physician, he said, "Master, perhaps you should wait a while before calling the physician for a checkup. Weren't you the one who was anxious for me to find the physician before? Why are you now advising me to wait?" Who would have thought that last night Consort Song would be diagnosed with a pregnancy pulse? If His Majesty had known a few days earlier that you were pregnant, he probably would have been overjoyed. But now, it's already happened. Last night, Consort Song was diagnosed with a pregnancy pulse. At this point, if His Majesty only now learns that you are pregnant, his joy might be greatly diminished. And at this moment, this is actually the best timing for me. If possible, I would even wish that several more people in the palace had been diagnosed last night. If more concubines get pregnant, I'll be ignored. Though both 9th rank, Wang outranks Song. However, Song is the revenue minister's daughter and has the emperor's favor. If she safely gives birth, boy or girl, she'll surely become a consort. So Song Shui is more likely than Wang Zhaoling to become empress. But her pregnancy reveal at the banquet makes her a living target. Since it's no longer a secret, others in the harem will realize this too. Song Shui is smart and surely knows it. At Mingshu Palace, her expression was conflicted. Looking at her own belly, she had always wanted a child, preferably a boy. But she never expected to find out she was pregnant under such sudden and unprepared circumstances. The palace maid Chao Yun called out softly and carefully. After all, Shui had always wanted to get pregnant. For the past few years she had been taking medicine to regulate her body, but there had never been any news. Last night, when the happy pulse was diagnosed, by all rights, Shui should have been overjoyed, but after returning from the banquet, she kept staring blankly at her belly from time to time. Even the palace attendants who served her didn't receive any rewards. What's wrong, my lady? Being pregnant is a joyous occasion. Song Shui took a deep breath and slowly revealed a smile. Although the news broke out last night, having a pregnancy would bring her some trouble, but after all, she was finally pregnant. No matter how you look at it, this is a happy event. She has a good family background and the emperor's favor. If anyone wants to harm her child, they can come and try. Give out rewards. According to rank, reward each person with 20 taels of silver so everyone can share in the joy. You handle the details. Meanwhile, in the Imperial Wardrobe, little Doozy carried out my orders and made a trip. In the Imperial Medical Academy, the people on duty heard that it was the concubine Lin, who was under house arrest. None of the Imperial physicians were very willing to go.
Sorry to trouble you all, but could one of you please make the trip?
The few Imperial physicians on duty looked at each other, and finally the one sitting in the corner reading stood up. Little Doozy also hesitated for a moment. But seeing that the other Imperial physicians in the academy were all just sitting there, as still as mountains, not even giving him a glance, little Doozy could only smile and greet Imperial Physician Hai.
Then I'll trouble you, sir. Just call me Imperial Physician Hai.
The medical academy is far from Yufu Courtyard, so Doozy and Physician Hai. They eventually reached the Yufu Courtyard. Once inside, little Doozy introduced us.
Meet Imperial Physician Hai of the Medical Academy.
Feeling nervous, I nodded to Imperial Physician Hai and said, "Sorry for the trouble, Imperial Physician Hai." He briefly checked my complexion, then asked,
I heard that the talented lady is not feeling well. Could you tell me specifically where you feel unwell?
I smiled awkwardly and said, "Actually, it's not that I'm unwell. My periods have always been irregular. It's normal for me to get them once every 2 months. But this time it's already been 3 months and I still haven't gotten it. Coincidentally, I heard this morning that Song Shui is pregnant. So I wanted to ask the Imperial physician to check if it's possible that I might also be pregnant. If it were another physician, they might think, isn't this Lady Lin desperate to get pregnant? How many times have you tried and still not conceived? Do you think getting pregnant is that easy?" But Imperial physician Wenyan simply nodded and said,
Please extend your hand. I did, and the official said, let me check your pulse.
I reached out, and Liankyo placed a cloth over my wrist, physician high, then checked my pulse as Liankyo waited breathlessly. Once done, he withdrew.
Congratulations, talented lady. You are indeed pregnant, and it's already been more than 3 months.
Liankyo and the others were overjoyed, and I also began to smile, but very soon I stopped. My smile faded, replaced by a worried expression. Imperial Physician High, I didn't know I was pregnant before, so I haven't really paid much attention. Will this have any effect on the child in my womb?
There are no major problems. You have a steady disposition, and the baby in your womb is very healthy.
I looked relieved. That's good. The Imperial Garment Bureau's search for a physician went unnoticed by the palace. After all, to the other mistresses, she's just a woman favored once in 5 years. An unfavored talented lady who offended a pregnant consort and was confined by the emperor is doomed. Someone like that isn't worth their attention. So when Liankyo reached Changchun, when she went to the palace to inform Noble Consort Lin was stunned for quite a while before she reacted. Are you sure you didn't get it wrong? It's Lin Miran from the Imperial Wardrobe who is pregnant, not some other consort from another palace. Madam, it is indeed Lin Marin from the Imperial Wardrobe who is pregnant. The head palace maid by Lin Marin's side. Is she still standing outside our palace right now? Noble Consort Lin was silent for a moment before saying, "Let her in, Liankyo." As Wang Guiying entered the main hall of Changchun Palace, she knelt properly before Noble Consort Lin. In front of you, our talented lady's monthly cycle has always been irregular, and sometimes it doesn't come for 2 months in a row. Plus, after she became pregnant, there were no noticeable symptoms, so we didn't dare to think in that direction. It wasn't until today when the news of Lady Songshui's pregnancy spread, only then did we start to suspect it might be the case. Summoning our courage, we invited the imperial physician. After taking her pulse, the physician confirmed that she has been pregnant for over 3 months. The talented lady immediately sent a servant to inform Your Highness the noble consort. So you came to report the news. A talented lady's pregnancy is a joyous event. Have you reported this good news to His Majesty yet? Not yet. The talented lady said that since Your Highness the noble consort is now in charge of the inner palace, it would be proper to inform you first. Guiying, accompany her to Qianling Palace and share this happy news with His Majesty. This Lady Ling does seem to have some luck. If she can actually give birth, then that's truly fortunate. But it also depends on what she gives birth to. If it's a girl, that's fine. But if it's a prince, then that's more than just luck. Well said. If she really can give birth to a prince, I wouldn't mind raising the child myself. But at that time, Lady Ling certainly wouldn't be able to stay. If Your Highness wishes to raise the child, that would be a blessing for the child.
Miss Guiying, is there something you need?
I am here on the noble consort's orders, accompanying this senior palace maid from Yufu Court to deliver good news to His Majesty. The imperial physician has just diagnosed that Lady Ling of Yufu Court is already more than 3 months pregnant. Please help us report this to His Majesty.
Oh, this is truly wonderful news. Miss Guiying, please wait a moment. I will report this for you right away.
Sneaky.
What sneaky business is this? Eunuch De Quan, Miss Guiying from Changchun Palace, has brought someone named Liang Qiu to deliver good news. They say that Lady Lin of Yufu Court has just been diagnosed as being more than 3 months pregnant.
Understood. You may leave now. Since she is pregnant, Lady Lin should be rewarded. 2 bolts of fine brocade, 2 bolts of gold-embroidered gauze, 2 sticks of gold-scented gemstone cloth, a pair of Yangli jade bracelets, and a living pearl.
What about Lady Lin's confinement?
Merits and faults cannot cancel each other out.
Is that all? Why hasn't the mistress's confinement been lifted? Alright, what are you all standing around for? Go about your own business. Mistress, could you be so angry you've lost your senses? Don't worry, I haven't lost my senses from anger. Anyway, there are only a few days left until the 3 months are up, so whether the confinement is lifted or not makes no difference. You and Wandong put the rewards in the side hall. As for those 2 bolts of gold-embroidered gauze, don't accept them for now. They'll be perfect for making 2 summer outfits to wear when it gets hotter in a while. How did I end up muttering my true thoughts out loud? At the same time, news of my pregnancy also spread throughout the palace. However, before everyone had time to feel envious or jealous, they soon learned that after the emperor found out about Consort Lin's pregnancy, he still did not lift her confinement. As a result, everyone's attention remained focused on Mingxi Palace. By the 13th of May, my 3 months of confinement had ended, yet Yufu Court remained as quiet as ever. It seemed as if everyone had forgotten that I was now allowed to go out and receive guests. Perhaps some still remembered, but seeing that none of the other concubines intended to visit Yufu Court, they simply pretended to have forgotten as well. Only the workers from the Imperial Workshop came on May 14th to deliver the summer clothes that should have arrived much earlier. The worker who came was quite tactful, saying that they were supposed to deliver the clothes sooner, but since Yufu Court hadn't been receiving guests lately, they wanted to come in person to greet me, which is why it had been delayed until now. Now, regardless of the real reason why the summer clothes are only being delivered now, at the very least they spoke nicely, so I chose to believe them. The 2 workers from the Imperial Workshop left Yufu Court smiling. The oval-faced palace maid smiled and praised me generously to the round-faced palace maid. I think Lady Lin is quite different from those consorts who have fallen out of favor. In fact, she's more like Consort Song, who is currently enjoying great favor. I was fortunate enough to have once gone to Mingxi Palace to deliver clothes to Consort Song. Just like Lady Lin did earlier, she gave each of us a sachet. Though His Majesty currently neglects Lady Lin, she is pregnant. Once she bears a child, prince or princess, the Emperor will favor her for the child's sake. Isn't it because Chief Attendant Li thought of this that she had them swap out the original lower garments prepared for the Imperial wardrobe, regardless of the color, and even made sure the material was of superior quality, then hurriedly sent them over as soon as Lady Lin's restriction was lifted? I stayed quietly in my court until the Empress Dowager's June birthday. I never left. Liang Q and I walked a long way to reach the palace path, moving slowly. Along the way we ran into 2 other concubines from different courts, Lu Chonglin and Lady Lu. Meeting someone of higher rank, I had to show respect. I couldn't ignore them. Lu Chongyuan has been in the palace for quite a few years now. They say she was once the city's favorite. Even Consort Lin deferred to her then. I never saw Lu Chongyuan in her glory days, but seeing Lu's ethereal delicate beauty, I can imagine how favored she was. Mo Yuan couldn't bear her sadness, but royal favor is always fleeting. These days, Lu Chongyu only sees Mo Yuan a few times a year. It's not that Lu Chongyu hasn't tried. Otherwise, concubine Lu wouldn't have moved into Fufeng Courtyard. Back then, concubine Lu wanted to leave Yufu Courtyard. And Lu Chongyuan needed someone new to attract Mo Yuan's attention. So with Lu Chongyuan's help, concubine Lu moved to Fushan Courtyard. However, concubine Lu still did not win Mo Yuan's favor. Mo Yuan continued to visit very rarely. As Lu Chunyu entered Fufeng Courtyard looking melancholy, his gaze swept across. I hid my jealousy as he held me, saying not to worry, if I was carrying a child. Ignoring the formalities, I smiled, spoke briefly with him, and then slipped away. Supporting my arm, he said, "My lady, we must hurry to the Empress Dowager's birthday. We can't be late." Approaching Sinning Palace, more consorts appeared. This is my first public appearance since getting pregnant. Though everyone acts like it's nothing special, seeing me makes them think of their own struggles to conceive. While I, after just one attempt, was lucky enough to conceive, their jealousy inevitably surfaced, and they couldn't help but talk about it. Their words naturally carried a hint of bitterness. When I stepped forward to greet everyone, Wu Jie deliberately moved aside to avoid me. "Oh dear, that won't do. Beauty Lin is pregnant now. How could you possibly bow to us? If anything were to happen to the child in your belly, it would be our fault." Wu Jieyu's voice is as melodious as a lark's, but whenever she speaks, her words are always laced with sarcasm, making people uncomfortable. Before I came, I had already prepared myself, so when I hear things like this, I can just let them go in one ear and out the other. I replied, "What are you saying, Jieyu? Your rank is higher than mine. It's only proper for me to pay my respects to you." Cousin Lin is always so courteous, not like some people who think that just because they're pregnant they can do as they please. She thinks she can do whatever she wants in the harem now. Everyone knows exactly who Lady Xie is talking about, Lady Xie and Lady Wen. They entered the palace at the same time, endured the same hardships, and were both favored by His Majesty, one after the other. But Lady Xie wasn't as lucky as Lady Wen, who was promoted to the rank of beauty first. Now, Lady Wen is nearly 5 months pregnant. While there's still no news from Lady Xia's belly, the two women, who were once evenly matched, are now clearly starting to drift apart. Can Lady Xia, who's falling behind, really stay calm about it? Just as Lady Xia finished speaking, Lady Wen stepped forward. She gracefully walked over, holding Lei Yuli's hand. Some people, when their own belly fails them, can only make sour remarks behind others' backs. If others are capable, why don't you get pregnant yourself? Oh, I forgot. There actually is someone here who managed to conceive. But people are ultimately different from one another, even if it happens just once by chance. Even if you get lucky, it doesn't really mean anything. After indiscriminately attacking everyone, Guimei took Liuli's hand and strode away. How ridiculous. Does she really think that just because she's pregnant she's suddenly so noble and important? Who knows if she'll even be able to carry the baby to term. No one is responding to what Lady Xia said, so we should go in now as well. If we keep delaying, it'll be too late. Yes, let's hurry inside. Lady Xia curled her lips but didn't say anything else, following the others inside. In Sinning Palace, the banquet hall, most of the imperial family and concubines had arrived, even the lower-ranking and unfavored. Led by a maid, I took my seat. Likely because I'm carrying the imperial heir, I wasn't treated negligently. My seat wasn't in the front row, but unlike previous years, it was in a relatively central spot. I just don't know whether the person who arranged the seating did it on purpose, or was simply unaware. There is some bad blood between me and Lady Qi, and it just so happened that Lady Qi was seated to my left. When Lady Qi realized that I was the one sitting next to her, she was truly unlucky. I glanced at Lady Qi, then turned my head away in annoyance, fuming. She bullies our mistress just because our mistress has a good temper. If she's so capable, why doesn't she pick on someone else? Why doesn't she go after the tea of other concubines? What is there to be angry about? Do you really expect our mistress to stoop to the level of a mad dog that bites everyone it sees? Although the two of them were speaking in low voices, Nado Dia was very close to them. I still heard them and couldn't help but laugh. Wandong rarely speaks, but I didn't expect such a sharp tongue. Surprisingly, hasn't Jia Meiren, across from me, been watching this whole time? As soon as I laughed, she chimed in. Ling Mei, why so happy? Did Sister Wen tell a joke? Xia Meiren's voice wasn't quiet, drawing everyone's attention. Did I laugh? I just recalled something on the way to Sinning Palace. I ran into a flock of chirping little sparrows. At the time I didn't pay much attention, but now that I think about it, those sparrows were arguing with each other, and it was funny. I smiled without realizing it. If Sister Xia hadn't mentioned it, I wouldn't have noticed I was laughing. Xia Meiren's expression didn't look too good. She picked up the teacup on the table and took a sip. After taking a sip, she stopped talking. I wonder if those little sparrows knew. They didn't know they were making people laugh. I glanced at Xia Meiren's aggrieved face and smiled. I didn't respond and let the conversation pass. But just as we were drinking tea, the Empress Dowager entered, supported by the eldest princess. The Empress Dowager, though just over 50 this year, looked about 40 thanks to her good maintenance. She was full of energy. Under Consort Lin's lead, everyone saluted the Empress Dowager without delay. Everyone returned to their seats, and then heard the eunuch announce loudly,
His Majesty has arrived!
So everyone knelt down again to pay their respects. Mo Xuan sat down beside the Empress Dowager, waved his hand, and signaled everyone to take their seats. After that, the birthday banquet officially began. It started. Mo Yuan was the first to stand up and offer a toast and birthday gift to the Empress Dowager. Next were the concubines from the harem. However, only Consort Lin and Consort Wei individually congratulated the Empress Dowager on her birthday. The rest of the concubines offered their toasts together as a group. Following the concubines, Mo Yuan's 3 princesses and the royal relatives offered their wishes. With greetings finished, attendants served the banquet as music and dance performances commenced. Despite the lavish banquet food, I didn't dare eat. Even my toast was just for show. I barely sipped the wine and didn't drink any. I turned to the song and dance in the center. The show by the Department of Rites for the Empress Dowager's birthday was spectacular. To the music, sashes fluttered and skirts swirled, moving gracefully. Not to mention, even the curves of their lips were perfectly synchronized. Just as I was thoroughly enjoying the show, an unfamiliar young palace maid came over to find me. Greetings, talented lady. The Empress Dowager wishes to see you. Would you please come with me? Wen Yan was taken aback for a moment and looked up at her outstretched hand. I saw that the Empress Dowager was speaking with the eldest princess and the eldest princess did not. Unheard, the Empress Dowager smiled and shook her head affectionately. Unsure why she wanted to see me, I stood up and followed the maid to approach her. In the past, whenever the Empress Dowager wanted to see me, I never refused. Qianli pays respects to the Empress Dowager. Empress Dowager, may you be blessed with health and peace. Rise. I have no other reason for calling you here. Among the 4 concubines in the palace who are currently pregnant, you are the only one I have not met. That is why I specifically asked you to come. Being able to bear an heir for His Majesty is my good fortune. You are sensible. The Empress Dowager gave me a few more words of advice, then waved her hand and said, All right, you may go back. As I turned around, my gaze unintentionally swept past the eldest princess standing beside the Empress Dowager, and I noticed the eldest princess. The look in her eyes toward me was quite unfriendly, which left me a bit puzzled. Before this, I never met the princess and hadn't offended her. When I entered the palace, Empress Chen was already in the cold palace. I never even met her. I had no grudge against Empress Chen or conflict with the princess. No conflict with the eldest princess. Why did the eldest princess glare at me? During the banquet, I kept pondering this, but after much thought, I still couldn't figure it out. The banquet finally ended. Afterwards, with Liang Qiu and Wan Dong supporting me, I headed toward the Imperial Wardrobe Bureau. I didn't dare walk too fast. Even though they were carrying lanterns, the palace lamps could only illuminate a limited area. Given my current situation, I couldn't afford any mishaps. Just as we turned the corner, I saw it. Ahead, accompanied by several palace maids and standing on the palace path, was the eldest princess and Lady Ling. Lady Ling was walking extremely slowly, but then again, Lady Ling only managed to conceive after seizing someone else's opportunity. If she wasn't careful and something happened, she probably wouldn't get a second chance. The eldest princess said, "I don't quite understand what you mean. His Majesty was the one who chose me to serve him that night. Why do you say I stole someone else's opportunity?" Now I understand why the princess is hostile toward me, but thinking about it, it's rather amusing. Does the eldest princess really believe that if I hadn't served His Majesty that night, he would have been with your mother, or with someone your mother arranged? Have you ever considered whether His Majesty would even meet? By the time he met me, he had already walked to the Yufu courtyard. It's not like I went to the cold palace and had someone drag him over. Even if I hadn't been there that day, His Majesty still wouldn't have followed your arrangements. Your mother's way of doing things is already quite improper, to say the least. I didn't expect the eldest princess to be foolish as well. Could it really be true that, like mother, like daughter? Both of them share the blood of the Chen family, but as for the other members of the Chen family, I don't know much about them. However, based on years of observation, the Empress Dowager has been quite astute in recent years. Don't think that just because you're pregnant you can rest easy. Let me tell you, I won't let things go well for you. I've never thought that just because I'm pregnant, I could rest easy. Your Highness, you exaggerate. As for your claim that you won't let things go well for me, I paused for a moment before continuing, waiting to hear what you had to say. The eldest princess seemed to want to say something more, but a palace maid behind her pointed into the distance and whispered, "Princess, the Prince Consort has come to see you." The eldest princess followed the direction the maid indicated, glanced over, tossed out a, "We'll see about that," then lifted her head high and turned to leave. She walked in the direction of the approaching person, and the eldest princess and her entourage left. After they had gone far, Liang Qiu looked a bit annoyed. She muttered under her breath, "So unreasonable," then whispered to me, "Luckily, our mistress, you don't often attend banquets, so you wouldn't know. But master, what kind of luck do you have? Every time you go to a banquet, you always run into these inexplicable people, it's true." My luck really is something else. I think I'd better just go out less from now on. Master just wants to find an excuse not to go out, and you saw right through it. Liang Qiu recently told me not to stay in all day in the Imperial Wardrobe Bureau. The eldest princess's actions didn't affect my mood at all. I returned smoothly to the Imperial Wardrobe Bureau, ate a few pieces of pastry, and went to sleep. It wasn't until I got up in the morning that I found out. Last night, Beauty Wen was on her way back. She slipped and fell near the plum garden, and there was blood. Beauty Wen's fall. Was it an accident or intentional? It's still unclear, but the likelihood of it being intentional is higher. It's said that the person in charge of investigating this matter found something at the entrance of Luomei residence. A few scattered beads were found. These beads belonged to the bracelet Beauty Wen wore on her hand. But Beauty Wen said she had lost that bracelet a long time ago. Because of this, I was even questioned by noble Consort Lin more than once. There's also Beauty Xie, who had an unpleasant argument with Beauty Wen yesterday, as well as several concubines who had quarreled with Beauty Wen were all summoned by noble Consort Lin. I have a clear conscience and am not afraid of being questioned, so naturally I didn't mind being asked a few questions. However, to be cautious, I still sent Xiaoduzi and a few others to my inner palace. They searched everywhere, conducting a thorough search of the Imperial Wardrobe Bureau. Even though I hadn't done anything, I still had to guard against being framed by others. Fortunately, the Imperial Wardrobe Bureau was spotless and nothing was found. A few more days passed. The results of the investigation by Noble Consort Lin and Wei Deifei were released. Noble Consort Lin and the others discovered that it was the Empress Dowager's birthday celebration. That night, a palace maid who served Lady Xie closely passed by the entrance of Luomei residence before Lady Wen returned there. After further investigation, they found that the palace maid who served Lady Xie closely This palace maid had contact with a young maid inside Luomei residence, and the time they interacted was precisely around when Lady Wen's prayer beads went missing. Lady Xia's personal maid is currently being interrogated. She confessed that her actions were instigated by Lady Xia, saying that Lady Xia was jealous because Lady Wen was pregnant, and Lady Wen would often flaunt her pregnancy. She would show off in front of Lady Xia, which made Lady Xia so angry that she wanted Lady Wen to lose her child. Of course Lady Xia refused to admit it, but what good would that do? Things had already come to this point and she could no longer. No matter how she tried to defend herself, it was useless. Attempting to harm an imperial offspring was a grave crime. Though Lady Wen bled and required bed rest, the baby was saved. Lady Xia's life was spared, but she was sent to the cold palace. Now one can only rest and recuperate, and the other has been sent to the cold palace. This really couldn't be better. Wandong didn't say anything, lost in thought. It was only after a while that she finally spoke. She asked, "Master, do you really think this was done by Lady Xia?" "What do you mean by that? Didn't the noble consort and consort already investigate and get to the bottom of it? Could Lady Xia's personal maid possibly slander her own mistress?" "I don't know either. I just feel like something isn't quite right. I also feel like it doesn't seem like Lady Xia. It seems more like Lady Xia was framed by someone. But with things like this, you can never be sure. Whether or not it was Lady Xia, this kind of thing has nothing to do with us. That matter really has nothing to do with me. But what happens next does concern me." So it turns out that recently, Lady Wen, she was in a bad mood, and specifically asked Mo Yuan if she could see her family. It wasn't really a big deal, so Mo Yuan agreed right away. Later, Mo Yuan remembered that there were still 3 pregnant concubines in the palace, so he specially sent word. He exceptionally allowed all pregnant concubines to summon maternal relatives for a visit. This news mattered little to Wang Jiaru and Song Shuyi. The emphasis on pregnancy was because concubines ranked 9th concubine or higher could already summon relatives on the 1st and 15th of every month. Thus, they could see family on regular days anyway. But it's different for me. Ever since I entered the palace, I haven't seen my family again. As for my father and stepmother, I don't really care, but I do want to see my sister. I don't know how she's doing now, but I imagine she must be doing well. She married the man she loved, her sweetheart, and Aunt Dong. She is a gentle and kind person. With my sister's intelligence and capability, I'm sure she can live a good life. A happy life. Even so, I must see my sister and hear she's well. Only then will joining the palace feel meaningful. But anxiety is useless. I must wait for the eunuch's decree first, and then